a friend. I am a community activist, and today I am so happy to stand with you all. Last year I was honored to speak at the march. This year I had the pleasure of being a part of the organizing team for this march and rally, and let me just say, this is not an easy event to organize. We have worked tirelessly around the clock to produce a meaningful experience for you all, and I could not have chosen a better group of women to work with on this project. To Emily,
love the shirt.
Deja, Allie, Nikki, Amy, and Laura, I love you ladies. We have already witnessed the impact of this movement and the repercussions for these crimes against women. And so, for the women and girls that are here with us today,
Excuse me, please.
fearless and be unapologetic. Demand equal pay because you are worthy. Run for elected office. Lead the charge. We are there to support you. We resist. We persist. And we rise.
Excuse me.
Thank you. And God bless you all.
You look really sexy. I love
So, can I have a button?
We asked for a $2 donation if you can.
Okay. Let me get my wallet. Sorry about that. Wonder where you get the pink hat.
Hello, Philadelphia. My name is Jonathan. I'm one of the organizers
Excuse me, please.
of Women's March on Philadelphia 2018. And I am so excited
Where's my
to
shades?
introduce to you this next speaker. I think the reason that she was elected as the first female city controller is because of all of us.
No, darling. Oh my God.
The dog's like, I want some. Give me some. I've been here all day, man. Give me some food.
Hello, Philadelphia. Thank you, Beth, for the introduction. And that was so true that all of the get out the votes from women across the city helped me so much to get elected. So I left the private sector to come back and work for government about 10 years ago. And I spent the last 9 years working for 2 mayors, helping both of them further their agendas. And what I learned is that my ability to limit, my ability to influence policy was limited because I wasn't an elected official. And around that same time is when Donald Trump won the presidency.
Whoa. Pardon me.
And I was weighed down, like so many of you, by this horrible disappointment, this feeling of defeat. I looked around and we had a president that didn't care about good government, that wasn't making decisions that are best for people.
Sorry.
And then I looked around here in Philadelphia.
Excuse me, please. Sorry.
And saw the parking authority here not protecting its workers and allowing sexual harassment to continue unchecked here. I saw politicians not doing their jobs. And those feelings of frustration and anger turned into something else for me. I started to feel someone needs to do something. And then I said, I need to do something. And I decided to fight for what I believe in.
Anybody else?
And I won. But running for office was not an easy decision. My chances of beating a long-term incumbent with party support were not good. Many people told me there was no way I could win.
Excuse me, please.
But I stand here today as the first woman city controller that the city's ever had. you all for that. So as city controller, I plan to use the office to make sure that the city's running well, to save millions of dollars, and to make decisions that help people. As an elected official, I will raise my voice to stand up for women, for gender equality, and for a diverse and inclusive society. Philadelphia has never had a woman mayor. Pennsylvania has never had a woman governor. Pennsylvania has never had a female senator. Pennsylvania is 40th out of 50 states in terms of female representation in politics. I have a 7-year-old daughter.
Pardon me.
Married today. Congratulations.
This is Amy Martin. She is a member of our planning team, and she is also a founding board member of Philly Women Rally. She could not be here today. She is our merchandise guru, and if it weren't for Amy, you would not know Beatrice. Beatrice is a local radio personality and public relations specialist. More than happy to welcome her to this evening.
Pardon me. Excuse me.
Your people finally woke up from their dreams. You thought you were all white, but now you're is treating your people. Look at what Trump did when he went there.
Excuse me.
She was referring to the United States citizens in Puerto Rico because we are United States citizens, President Donald Trump. We are a proud people with much dignity. We have fought far too long for our rights with little to no voice or no voice at all. We are hardworking, dedicated, and professional. We know very well who we are and what we are. We also know we are the ones considered to be the brown. We're not brown people, we're Latinos from Puerto Rico, 15 miles per hour. And 15 days later,
Excuse me.
not even recovering from nerves, Hurricane Maria, a category 5 of winds of 155 miles per hour, struck with full force our island of Puerto Rico, Vieques, Culebra, and the Virgin Islands, all of which are territories of the United States of America. In Puerto Rico, these storms have completely devastated the island by making landfall just south of Yaucoa. More than 1.5 million people still vowed that the White House would be there through the entire process of recovery,
Guys, a long
but
circus.
has not kept his promise. In Puerto Rico, do you know what the death toll, the real number? 1,000 30. The administration says it's only 64.
Lying sack of shit.
That number keeps rising. Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands have had future hurricanes, all of which has been read twice in Senate and now referred to the Committee on
Sorry,
Finance.
excuse me.
And yet,
Sorry.
no avail.
Sorry.
Terribly. I agree. The administration has removed all their assistance, leaving many people vulnerable and inaccessible by roads to die. Inaccessible because our homes are built on cliffs or mountains, and these people cannot come down from those mountains, and we need to find ways to get to them so that we can provide them with food and medical supplies and whatever else they need. But we need this administration to stop playing the political games that they play with not only Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands, but also here on the mainland. They play too many political games.
Damn right. That guy is such a piece of shit.
People on the island are still in need of food, supplies, medical supplies, electricity, and clean water. More people will continue to die.
He was recently given more surveillance power a week ago. Yeah.
Unless you stop playing these games.
Look up who voted
to the
for the
mainland. Many are
extension
here in
of
Pennsylvania
NSA surveillance that
and in
was
New
just
Jersey.
given to Donald Trump.
I and my daughter, Crystal Carabello,
It wasn't just Republicans, it was also Democrats.
Many of these families that have evacuated here because what are you staying in Puerto Rico for? What are you staying in the Virgin Islands for? You lost your home. You lost everything. You have to survive for your child, for your elderly parent, and for yourself. So a lot of them are here, and we have to help them here. What is happening on these islands by the White House, the president, and the administration is pure racism.
Damn right.
And until racism is truly and honestly addressed head on, no one will truly have equality, here or there. My friend Helen from New York for giving me that comment that I read in the beginning of my speech. Because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have shaken my head. And my first reaction, and I'm going to tell the blacks and Latinas here, our first reaction is defensive. We cannot always be so defensive.
Did you see the stage?
We have to listen.
Did I see the stage? No.
Black friend
But it's okay. It's okay.
told me, look in the mirror.
It's okay.
I wanted to know, was I missing?
And not because I think I'm white. I'm black and I'm
kinda
proud of
see
it.
it.
Yo soy negra chivana de Puerto Rico. We have to work together to stop all the racism, to stop all the hatred that seems to have been coming out since his campaign started. It has to stop.
Am I that crazy?
We resist this Women's March to fade away and allow the administration to believe they are doing the right thing for the people here and all over the world. Resist the constant demonstration of black love leadership. We persist as women. We have the power in numbers to make change. Look at all the women here. Look at all the women on Facebook that are watching us now. Women can bring about the much needed help for Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. Persist in demanding policies be implemented to better the quality of life.
In 2018, hell's coming.
Race, religion, color, or financial background. Of all women, regardless of race, nationwide must continue to rise louder above the devastating hardship we face daily, forced upon us by the White House administration, Senate, Congress, and society itself. Rise together to witness positive outcomes of our struggle. I love you, Philadelphia!
You know how crazy it has to be that when the news comes out, it makes it to the more start anchoring it out.
not even the most newsworthy thing about you. Wait, I didn't even hear what was that about.
Good afternoon, Philadelphia.
Excuse me, please.
It is an honor to be here with you for this second time. My name is Laura Arblaster, and I'm one of the organizers of this amazing
Excuse me,
event.
please. Sorry.
This year, I have the pleasure of being accompanied by my daughter Elizabeth
Sorry.
here on
Excuse me.
stage.
Sorry. Sorry. No,
So
thank you.
before I talk of what I planned, I just want to say something to all the immigrants that are here. I need you to look around, and all of the people that are here know you are loved, know you are supported, and know you are very, very much wanted, and you are the reason why this country is beautiful. So last year, I spoke of my mother's immigration to the United States from Cuba, and about the life lessons she teaches me and my daughter daily. She most definitely set the bar high when it comes to parenthood. On January 27th last year, still processing and honestly recovering from the work involved with this march, because you know this doesn't come together like this, I learned with everyone else that the occupier of the White House signed an executive order barring people from 7 Muslim countries. And like so many of you, I watched thousands of people protesting at the airports all over the country. I didn't want to go. I wanted to stay home with my family and watch Disney movies for the millionth time with our daughter.
Excuse me. Oh, sorry.
That's bad, you know?
Sorry.
So, I wanted a minute to relax.
Sorry. Excuse
It
me.
was precisely then, though,
Sorry.
when I felt that I needed that
Really
break.
sorry. Really
Is
sorry.
that, like all women, we forge ahead.
Sorry.
I couldn't sit back no matter how much I wanted to. We grabbed some poster board and some markers and crayons and made our sign to take with us to the Philadelphia airport. On the drive there, I knew then I could no longer parent the way I envisioned, or the way I had in the past. I no longer had the luxury of sitting back. It was all different.
You want to learn? Good. Good. You want to learn? Good. You want to learn? Good.
Excuse me.
You want to learn? Good.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Adorable. Whatever you say.
I would like to take now a moment to introduce you to our next speaker, Amy Gunzelman. She's a 17-year-old feminist at a very conservative high school, and she's already changing the world. Amy, it's my pleasure. Thank you for being here.
Hi everybody. I just want to start off with saying how honored I am to be able to speak here today in front of all you beautiful people.
Excuse me, please. Sorry.
The past 2 years has been a struggle.
Oh, my shot. That's just great.
Oh my gosh.
Hello. Hey, I think I saw Michelle. She's over there.
Picture. I dress like all those bitches.
That's too great.
So then let's go this way and get out. You want to stay right
Sorry. Canon squad. Big squad. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
What's the third call?
No, it's
Members to come join me protesting from still being allowed, from still being able to be allowed to support. A few months after the incident, I was still protesting for these people and doing everything in my power to fight for what was right. Then another incident happened. He tweeted out a racist term to describe the Mexican heritage. I
immediately saw it, and I called him out, asking him, why do you think this is acceptable? I organized another protest to try to get him off the school board, and over 50 people showed up in support. I can still remember this day. So many community members and surrounding community members came and resisted his bigotry. Many newscasts showed up and interviewed me so I could get the word out about the intolerance that the Spring Grove High School and the community were facing by him not stepping down. I could see that the discrimination was hurting my school and my community. Through all of this, I have gotten hate mail delivered to my house, threatening messages on social media, and street harassment. But I continue to persist, and it all paid off in the end. I still live in a conservative community and go to a conservative school, but the Spring Grove School Board member stepped down about 2 months ago. I feel like my persistence definitely paid off. I feel like my persistence and resistance impacted my community in more words than I can describe. Even with the discrimination women face every single day, I hope each and every one of you knows that you can make a difference.
Keep fighting, kid. Keep fighting, kid. Keep fighting. Sorry. And speak up for what is right. We choose to fight, not because it's easy. Hey! How are you doing, man? Where's Aaron?
What?
Where's Aaron? Not here?
No, Chloe is. It's probably asleep.
I was just waving all through the crowd just to get a bunch of video.
Nice. How is it?
Trying to video the whole event, as much of it as I can, anyway.
When you get her?
Good question. I forget, honestly.
Yeah, I got her like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. It's a lot of good, powerful stuff we're seeing.
Yeah. Glad.
You missed a lot of good stuff with the net neutrality one last week.
Yeah, I know. I wish I could make it.
Yeah. Well, look up Darth Bryboy net neutrality protest. I got an hour's worth of footage of the event and a lot of amazing shots. I'm hoping to try to get a lot of shots here, but it's also like this is the problem with the DSLR, man. It's like it's like debating about whether to get pictures first or video. Yeah.
Can you not take video and then take pictures out of the video?
No, unfortunately. Well, I could try to screen capture, but to me that's not really photography.
Yeah. If you have really good resolution on camera, you can do it.
I mean, it's 1080p, but still, you know.
Still, even if 1080p in my convoy.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm gonna probably shut off the video then like get more pictures, you know? And you know, to me it's like even more beautiful that it's at the Philadelphia Museum of Art, you know?
Of course, of all days, it's going to be this nice on the day of the march. Like, it's 50 degrees out.
Hey, all these marches here are spoiled because at the net neutrality one, I was standing in 33-degree weather with no gloves, man.
Yeah, it's better than it was 2 weeks ago when it was at 0.
Oh yeah, good point.
And it was like 8 inches of snow, too.
Oh, that was shit. That was shit. There was a very good speech that one of the guys at the net neutrality thing said. It's like he comes out and protests every week, not because he wanted to, because it was cold out that day, but not because it was easy, but because he felt he'd have to.
Yeah.
He had to.
This is a picture I found.
You know, I mean, it's like if you love this country, you protest, you know?
You know who Achi Pai is, right?
Oh, hell yeah, I know who that son of a bitch is.
Yeah, so I saw someone find a picture of him and do an edit of it, but the edit is so simple and almost nothing at all, but it's so great.
Oh my god, wait. Yes.
It's nothing.
Did you hear his Twitter feud he got it with Mark Hamill?
Yeah.
That was too good.
Yo, I got a shout out from Mark Hamill on Twitter.
I hate you right now.
I was so surprised.
You got a shout out from Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, you know how surprised I was?
You got a shout out. Look at Luke Skywalker, oh my god!
Honestly, none of his other roles can compare to that.
Except maybe the Joker.
Can't compare to Luke Skywalker.
I mean, Luke Skywalker.
If he was like the Dark Knight Joker, maybe, but not like an animated Joker.
Our animated Joker is still pretty damn good. Don't underestimate him.
He was, but I'm just saying it doesn't compare to Luke Skywalker.
I know. Look at the buns, man. Yeah, I would have brought more buns, but I forgot. I wasn't prepared.
I'm not really a button person.
Oh.
I save a lot of them because I know they can be relevant later, but it's just like not my thing to wear them.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, to me, this is as good as it gets. You want to try to sneak around and see if we can get up front?
It's not our place to.
I'm going to try to get some pictures
Maybe
anyway.
closer, but I wouldn't try to get up front.
But not up front, I'm just going to try to get shots.
But I want to get like a little.
Anyway, see you, Dan. Anyway, I'm going to be going around.
See you.
Good to see you too, Dan. Keep up the fight, my friend. This is my country and I refuse to allow. Love the sign.
Agendas that place my 3 sons behind a bar or I left them in the streets before they are 8 years old.
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir.
Precedent that builds my roots and my heritage has amounted because I do not curse less than a dumb hole.
Sorry.
But yet, guess what, ladies? I persist. You know why I persist? Because I am a mother who will present my children to guarantee that they have a future, that they are safe, and they have a well-being that is secured, and that no one, I mean no one, will strip them of their destiny. I will persist because I will promise you that I will wake up every day purposely with this loud voice and I will not be silenced. I will persist because not only will I promise myself and my family and my community to march to death,
Excuse me, please.
but I will march every day at every corner of my community, including every office of my elected officials, every block where the crimes are hidden in my own community, and I will acknowledge it. I will fight through every police brutality.
Sorry.
I will fight for every form of injustice. And in this fight, and through my life, I will rise. And how will I rise? I will rise like the sun and enlighten every dark.
Is that we do not have to live by the characteristics society forces upon women. And that was the same idea I was getting at. Audre Lorde once said, if I didn't define myself for myself, I would be crushed into other people's fantasies and be eaten alive. So it took me years to understand that I must love myself through my flaws, through my failures, through my doubts, and now here I am, 20 years young, telling my story to you. And hopefully influence young girls. During my middle school days, I was known for being a fighter. While fighting black girls who looked just like me, I was blinded by the reasons I used to fight. It wasn't because I hated those girls. It's because I hated what I was trying to become. I was trying to become something I was not yet, which was strong, bold, bold, strong, and dynamic. Not realizing that instead I was harboring self-hate. I wanted to continue to be bold and to have everyone afraid of me. I realized that day when I was almost expelled from school during my 8th grade year, multiple unnecessary fights, that it was not what I wanted to be. To this day, I applaud my middle school, Universal Institute Charter School for scaring me into a different mindset. I became a troublemaker for all the wrong reasons, so I was never really fighting those girls, I was fighting myself. After realizing that, I became a troublemaker for all the right reasons. I noticed that there are too many problems in this country, or even in Philadelphia, to not be worried about people who look just like me. My high school years consisted of standing up for others, including myself, against unjust regulations. Rebel became my middle name, and protest for black men became a go-to for me. However, one day when I went to a protest for Sandra Bland, a young queen killed almost 3 years ago, I noticed that there was very few people there. It was less people than Trayvon Martin, Freddie Gray, and even Eric Garner. And I became sick and tired of women going unnoticed with police brutality. I was sick and tired of black women's stories being erased in history, and I was not willing to allow it any further. Although I attended marches for black men, I knew something had to be done for black women. It was time to speak for black women and young black girls into existence. I refused to go another day with the chance of another black woman or young girl's story being erased. If no one is willing to tell our stories, we can. In that order, I would like to honor women who haven't been recognized as often. And as I say their names, I want you all to say, "You matter" at the end. Esau Garner.
You matter.
Erica Garner.
You matter.
Charlena Lyles.
You matter.
China Dupree.
You matter.
Sandra Bland.
You matter.
Tanisha Anderson.
You matter.
Bianca Robertson.
You matter.
Corinne Gaines.
You matter.
Aaliyah Jones.
You matter.
Nebra Hassan.
You matter.
Deborah Donner.
You matter.
Ashanti Davis.
You matter.
And to all my women and to all the women and friends who have helped me into the person I am today. Pearl Carter.
You matter.
Angie Wilcox.
You matter.
Pamela Walters.
You matter.
Stephanie Reese.
You matter.
Chanel Fender.
You matter.
Chelsea Powell.
You matter.
Jasmine Thomas.
You matter.
Kennedy Scurry.
You matter.
Rhaenyra Elam.
You matter.
Tyra Jones Blaine.
You matter.
Takira Binion.
You matter.
And last but certainly not least, my best friend Aminata Cisse.
You matter.
You all matter, and never ever let anyone convince you otherwise, because without you all, I wouldn't be on this stage today speaking my truth to these young girls. Thank you.
I'm very excited to introduce our next speaker. She was one of the speakers who applied to be one of our everyday speakers. Her name is Michelle Leahy, and she is a business owner who brings her own wheels with her. So, Michelle.
Look at all of you! And I'm looking down, which is very unusual for me because I usually get whiplash. We as women
What
It's
the
legal
fuck?
in America.
Fuck that.
Guess what? I have a mortgage too. Can you imagine living in a world where you're trying to build your business and every other phone call you make is making sure that business or networking meeting has a ramp? Can you imagine a world where you can't even get into the door and everything to make yourself successful is being shut and slammed in your face? Despite your master's degrees and your years of service in the workplace, you still get passed over. More often than not, we are not even a blip on anyone's radar. Can you imagine living in a world where meeting friends on a Friday night or having a date and they are speaking down at you, yes, down at you, from high top tables and bar stools? Proper representation and advancement eludes us in the media, the workplace, and our communities. You may be wondering if there's a wall to protect people like me. Yes, the Americans with Disabilities Act. But after 28 years, our government and our civil rights are being chipped away by the current government.
Fuck that shit.
Yes, we can own our own businesses, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't change the challenge. Personally, I have been employed at places where I had to get in my car and drive across the street to the grocery store to go to the bathroom. Do you remember the movie Hidden Figures? Another employer told me that he would pay me less because he assumed I needed government assistance. And that actually is true. You can pay me less, which is not. I deserve equality. We all yes, equality, even in the bedroom. We are living on the fringes. What you think? I can make it rise. Rising up is not all we can do. We have eyes that are beautiful to look at. This woman loves going to the dinner and to dinner dates in the theater and even strolling along the boardwalk. Yes, even we can hike. There's wheels for every occasion. Oh, Philadelphia, my hometown, look at you! My rights, your rights, our rights. Not just the rights of women with disabilities, but the rights of those who are aging and will someday need the same access that I do today. I want you to take action. The only way to include all women in this tapestry of diversity is by giving access to all of us. All of us. In the boardroom, in the backyards, and in
Register to vote at that
Every
time.
dollar made, every dollar donated to us goes 100% to funding this event. So we appreciate any and all donations. And we do have a limited amount of merchandise, but we do have a lot of buttons. So please, if you have time, go over there. And it is now my pleasure to introduce Pauline Thompson-Guerin. She is a representative of Philadelphia Veterans for Peace.
Thank you. How's that? Whoa, Philadelphia, it's a beautiful day. I am Dr. Pauline Thompson-Guerin. I'm here with my daughter, Gracie. My other daughter, Beth, is out there in the crowd. Hey, Beth. I am a mother. I am a sister. I am a daughter. I'm also a psychology professor. And I am also a U.S. Navy veteran. I'm here today. I'm here today as a member of the Philadelphia chapter of Veterans for Peace. Since earning my doctorate in psychology, my research and work has related to understanding the impacts of trauma and on mental distress and healing. Women are expected to just deal with harassment and assault on a regular basis, while threats of assault are dismissed as locker room talk. Rape culture is perpetuated in our music, in entertainment, on college campuses, and in social media. Rape culture and toxic masculinity surely contributed to me being harassed and physically and sexually assaulted when I was only 18 years old as a sailor serving in the Navy during the Persian Gulf conflict. The reality of military service is not glamorous. It's not patriotic. It's rarely meaningful.
Damn.
Support our veterans, not because of some romanticized notion of valor, but because of the atrocities that militarism inflicts on our veterans. Military service leaves many experiencing depression, alcohol and drug abuse, PTSD, traumatic brain injury, and suicide. Currently, more active duty personnel are lost to suicide than to combat. The struggles don't end when service does. Every single day, 22 veterans commit suicide. And for women veterans, the outlook is especially bleak. The suicide rate of female veterans aged 18 to 29 is 12 times higher than for non-veteran women. 1 in 3 female veterans report experiencing sexual trauma. These are underreported. We need more and better health and mental health services. If we want to help veterans, we need to build strong and healing communities and families for our veterans to come home to. Stop funding militarism. Fund education. Fund health care. Despite my experiences in being diagnosed with PTSD due to military sexual trauma, I am not a victim. I will have no shame. I will not be blamed for what happened to me and its effects. I am determined that my Navy experiences ultimately benefit others. So I share my story. I teach. Every semester I guide my students to be less judgmental, more loving, more healing, more compassionate. And I also teach them to not be afraid to stand up for what is right. They learn to sit with discomfort. Use that to motivate you for change. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "I never intend to adjust myself to the madness of militarism." And neither will we. We will not be silenced.
you. And I ask that you continue to connect with your friends, your neighbors, your communities. Please don't stop the persistence with which we must work.
I'm not blogging with you.
Your friends, your family, your co-workers need your strength, this strength, and your partnership. So please share yourself in any capacity that you can. Remember that through the cracks, we see the light. Working in this way together, I know, I believe it, that we can work best together to learn about our shared humanity, and then we rise. Thank you.
Sorry.
While we waiting, ladies, make some noise! Thank you so much. Ben Franklin.
We've been concerned for a very long time about nuclear weapons. Now, all of us are witnessing two world leaders taunting each other with the use of these weapons. North Korea and our country, the United States. Coupled with a dysfunctional nuclear weapons policy in D.C., the urgency for citizen action couldn't be greater for all of us. So we thought, while we're all here together, our energy for transformation so strong, we would be sure that all of us understood what the urgency was. Sanity dictates that nuclear weapons are for deterrence, not for use. If only a small percentage of nuclear weapons were deployed intentionally or accidentally, they could take the human race to the brink of extinction. Yet we have a president who asked, and I quote, "If we have nuclear weapons, why can't we use them?"
Because he's a fucking idiot. Are you using film or digital?
He currently has the unique power to launch a nuclear weapon without congressional oversight or approval. No individual should hold the absolute power to destroy nations. So we need to do something about this.
Absolute power corrupts absolute.
Don't we? Well, fortunately, we have the opportunity to do something about this. And your grannies are counting on all of you before this time tomorrow to take the action that Granny Helen Evelev is about to describe to you. And you can even do this.
Fists. And that's what we need. We heard about so many issues that are terribly pressing and need people to act on. And here you are. So we're counting on you. The world is counting on you. So, 2 members of Congress, Senator Edward Markey and Representative Ted Lieu, have introduced companion bills called Restricting First Use of Nuclear Weapons, which would prohibit our president from first use without a declaration of war from Congress. We urge everyone here to call their senators and representatives and ask them to co-sponsor this bill. The bill is still in the Foreign Affairs Committee. The Foreign Affairs Committee is made up mostly of Republicans.
Boo!
Get it to the end and say where they need to poll.
Why do we have to cut it?
Just tell them what to do.
Okay. I am being kicked off the stage. So, this is what you have to do. You have to call, wait a minute, I have to give you a phone number. Oh, you're in luck. Do you have pencil and paper?
Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round. Keep on it walking, keep on it talking, marching to the freedom line. One more time, everybody. Gonna let nobody turn me round, turn.
Together with all of you, we want you to know that we do it always. Tall, short, thin, fat, we black, we white, we Latino, we Asian.
That's right.
And we are proud and feel we should be part of this as well. We also had Judge Giselle Jones. She's part of us and also works with the managing director. We have Kathy from Blondell's office. Whenever you see Blondell, you see her.
That's right.
So we are very happy to be here. Very, very happy to say we got some issues in this country right now.
Damn right.
We are happy to be here. I represent a whole lot of Africans in my area too, so you know I'm happy to be here.
Excuse me, please.
So we want to say that we have to stick together. As women, we are very focused and clear on who we are, what we need to do, and we want to all join together to make life better for all. God bless you and thank you. Buenas tardes! I want to thank all of you for coming together. This is a year in this city, the city of sisterly affection and womanly action. This is the year where we tell people who our allies are. Don't tell me
participate. Because they were home. Because they were home caring for children and trying to make it. We must make a part of this movement protection for low-wage union workers so that they can have economic security. Woo! The power of the people. The power of the people is greater than. The people in power. The people in power. The power of the people. The power of the people is greater than. The people in power. The people in power. Peace and blessings. The struggle continues. Give it up for the fabulous ladies of the Philadelphia City Council! At this time, it is my honor to introduce to you another group of fabulous ladies in politics. The fabulous woman of the PA State House. We are joined by State Representative Donna Bullock, State Representative Joanna McClinton, State Representative Carolyn Comenta, State Representative Maria Donatucci, and State Representative Tina Davis. Ladies.
My knee is going to be hurting.
Make it right. Good girl. She can make it right. Good afternoon, Philly!
I'm State Representative Donna Bullock. I was here last year to greet you and welcome you to my district right here, the 195th, right here at this beautiful art museum. Welcome back, Philly Women's March. Last year we marched and we said we were marching for our families. We were marching because love is love, and because we wanted to march for our environment. We wanted to march for criminal justice, and we wanted to march for intersectional feminism. This year, we are running. We are running our communities. We are running our boardrooms. We are running corporate America. We are running for office. And we are running to the polls to make sure our voices are heard. And we are running those who have disrespected our bodies out of office. And today I have the honor of introducing a woman, who I affectionately call my sister rep, who I share an office with in Harrisburg. This woman runs. She runs marathons, triathlons, hurdles, sprints. She is running for criminal justice. She is running for reproductive health. She is running for our families and running for our communities. She does not stop, take a break, or anything. I don't know when she stops. My good sister rep, my colleague, State Representative Joanna McClinton. Thank you, Representative Donna Bullock. Where are the ladies? Oh, the ladies are here. So we don't have that much time, but I want you to take a notice to what my sweatshirt says. It says a woman's place is in the house and in the... Oh, that's right, that's right. That's right. Because too much time has passed and Pennsylvania has yet to send a woman to the United States Senate. Too much time has passed and we still have not had an of the United States Congress.
PA ranks 49th in the country for percentage of women holding office.
What the
hell? We make up only 20% of the PA legislature. Most of them were here. That's how few there are. You saw them. They're right before me. There are only 14% women in the Senate. In the House, only 4% of those women are of color, and not one of them is a Republican. There are 0 women of color in the Senate. 0. We must do better, and we can do better. The path is hard. simple. Run, baby, run. Run for something. Run for school board, run for council, run for state rep, run for committee. Every single committee seat is up in 2018. And on the local level, you only need to get 10 votes to get on the ballot. 10 votes, and you can make a difference.
I'm gonna fucking run for school board.
Of this whole nightmare, and
Let it be known I'm gonna run for school
people
board.
through this, just like I have. But now we're all officially out of our comfort zones, right? There's nothing holding us back. It doesn't matter if you've never done it before. We've never, thankfully, lived in times like this before. It doesn't matter who you were before this. It matters who you decide to be now. The most important thing you can do is remember, behind every successful woman is a tribe of other strong women who have her back. We need to have these candidates back. We need to have these women's back. The only way we win is with boots on the ground. We need to knock doors. We need to make phone calls. We need to donate. You need to talk to your friends, your neighbors, your family, and make sure they get out the door and do what on November 2018? Together, we can make sure our voices are heard where it counts on Election Day. Turn PA Blue is here to help you do that. Whatever it is you think you can do or you want to do to help, we will find a place for you. We will plug you in and we will put you to work.
I want to run.
Text 66866 in your phone. 66866. Turn PA Blue. That's it. We will plug you in with these amazing women that are running, these amazing people that are running, and you can make a difference. I know you believe it. That's why you're all here. Now we need
Taking
to fight
pictures and
for it.
video.
Good things don't come to those who
YouTube
wait.
channel. I'm
Good
gonna
things come to
compile
people
all the
who work their
clips
asses
into a video
off. Are you ready?
because I'm kind of like.
What's your YouTube site? So, because you took a picture of me, I want to. If you put it on there, I want to see myself.
All right, Darth Boy.
What is that?
You have a phone on you?
It's them.
You have a okay. It's DarthBriboy. Look in the YouTube. Darth Boy.
Darth Boy.
Yep.
Hi everyone, it's my pleasure to introduce Melissa Robbins.
That's in Brian.
Alright, listen. You took that picture, don't put it on there.
Alright, I won't.
Alright?
I won't.
Hello, Philadelphia. Before I get started, I want us to recognize women. Women who are in situations of trauma. Women and girls of human trafficking. Our disabled sisters that often experience trauma. Women who are unjustly incarcerated. Women of our LGBTQ community. Active duty personnel, veterans, and of course our women and girls of DACA.
Like Darth Vader, you know? Take out Vader and replace Briboy.
Hello, Philadelphia.
So it's Darth Bri, B-R-I?
I am an advocate.
B-O-Y.
I am a Philadelphian.
B-O-Y?
I am a mother.
No, Darth Vader.
I'm a woman. I'm a black woman.
So it's Darth B-R-I, B-O-Y.
I am a veteran of the United States Army. I am a daughter. I am you. When I was a young girl, I had the pleasure of experiencing life with females of all ethnicities. There was Candace, Marianne, Keisha, Shantae, Dara. We were all girls of different cultures and communities, but we were all friends. These are my sisters for life. After high school, I joined. That must change. Here in our great state of Pennsylvania, in the Commonwealth, in both chambers, we have 253 members. 48 are women. 7 women are in the state Senate. Of those 7 women, 0 are women of color.
My legs.
We have 41 women in the state house. Of those 41 women, 9 are women of color. That must change. I'm inspired by all of you for coming here today to come together with women from all walks of life to engage, to empower, and to uplift. Over the past year, we have had to face some hard truths here in our country, some uncomfortable truths in our country. Our current political climate is harsh, it's unstable. Racism is at an all-time high. Discrimination
Inflation is at an all-time high. Poverty is at an all-time high. But I truly believe that if each and every one of us commits to denouncing hatred, confronting racism, and refusing the social system of patriarchy, we will be one step closer to a united country. Thank you. It's a little toasty up here. As Deja said, my name is Amber Heights and I'm the Executive Director of the Office of LGBT Affairs for the City of Philadelphia, and I stand before you a proud queer black woman. Right. All right, thank you. Pulled a James Brown there. I speak in front of this crowd in the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection today. But what I want to ask you about, my sisters, is tomorrow. What does it look like? Where are we standing and who is standing with us? Today we march, we sing, we cry out. But tomorrow when we go home, when we toss out our signs, when we hang up those pink hats and return to our work, our neighborhoods, our partners, will we take all our sisters back into our individual lives with us? Or will we allow our minds to empty, letting some of our sisters' hands drift away into the darkness? I ask because every one of us here came because we desire to be a part of the battle. But in the thick of the fight, how many of us have refused to protect our sister? It's not enough to raise our signs and our voices when it's convenient, surrounded by like-minded souls as we are here today. We must continue to do so when it is difficult, at our dinner tables, in our classrooms, with our friends, and yes, with our family members. And so I ask you, how many times have women with privilege abandoned our more marginalized sisters? How many times have women with economic resources and access ignored the cries of their sisters living in poverty?
Too many.
Have able-bodied women cast aside those living with disabilities? Have cisgender women questioned or even rejected the very womanhood of our transgender sisters? And how many times, my God, how many times have white women sided comfortably with racism and patriarchy, selling out their sisters of color and yes, even themselves? Too many times! And so I ask you, have you tethered another woman to barren ground? Have you tied her tight because you didn't understand that the goal was always to fill the sky, not race to the sun? And so if your honest answer is yes, my sisters, that time is over. Moving forward, my sisters, our success will not lie in leaving each other behind, but in the gathering of all the pieces, even if we have yet to clearly see how they fit together. Trust me, they do. But for too long have we allowed the idea that womanhood could be questioned or snatched away, or refused to those of us who didn't fit into archaic, narrow definitions, specifically created to destroy our sisterhood with each other. But I say no longer. I know why some of us do this though. It's because it's a whole lot easier to pour all lives matter into empty, calloused hands instead of together taking up the task of building more seats at the table. But I'll tell you today, I'm not interested in what's easy. I'm not looking for the easy way. I'm not looking for the leisurely ride to freedom, because I know that means I packed too light. That means I didn't take enough of my sisters with me. And what good is my arriving at the top if all it affords me is a bird's eye view of all the sisters I left behind? For far too long, feminism has asked us to sift through women and refuse entry because they were not enough, or their needs couldn't possibly fit through the gates to the other side. But today we know better, we know different. And so if there is any definition, if there is any doorway that might...
Again, similar to the
didn't I tell y'all?
video I did.
That's one of my mentors and a colleague. She's the former director of Office of LGBT Affairs. She is the person that helped create the liaison position for the District Attorney's Office. She's a badass attorney who opened up her own firm, and she's a self-identified dyke.
Okay.
So I want you all to give it up for Nellie Fitzpatrick.
Hey, Philly. Hey, all you other self-identified dykes out there. So here we are. We resist, we persist, and we rise. At the core of any demonstration or march is the act of coming together, showing our strength in numbers through united yet varied voices for all to see and know. Proud to be here. I'm a proud Philadelphian. I'm an out and proud lesbian. I'm a wife. I'm an attorney. I'm a business owner. I'm a parent to a pack of rescued animals. And like almost everybody here, I am mad as hell at the state of our government.
Not gonna take it anymore.
Mad at the hate that the Trump administration has sanctioned and the dangerous, demeaning stance our nation has taken on the global stage. And I absolutely refuse to allow our president's disgusting, racist, sexist, xenophobic behavior to become the new normal in our nation's capital. I refuse to sit down, be quiet, or turn away from the dangerous combination of ignorance and bigotry that is ignited throughout our country and the toxic blend of lies and deceit from our elected officials. But like everybody here, I am one person and I'm one voice and I'm one life's experience. Not one of us here is capable of confronting or changing all people and institutions, able to erase the hate that infects our American fabric as deeply as our patriotism. But we can all change ourselves and open our hearts and minds to those lives ours touch. The true commonality among us is that we cannot resist or persist or rise alone. Today, 1 year later, we also cannot turn away from the truth that college-educated white women could have changed last year's election. Some of you might be here today. Welcome. Now, what does that mean for us today as we gather here, as part of a women's march yet again? We must continue to face the reality and the destructiveness of privilege. The only way to vindicate the rights of women is to address the concerns of all women. Feminism can only succeed if it's anti-racist, if it's pro-LGBT, if it stands for disability rights, if it stands for the rights of undocumented women and their families, if it's anti-poverty. The work of constant resistance and basic survival can be more than many can bear on their own. As a member of the LGBT community, I have witnessed the power of a community coming together to save lives in the face of HIV/AIDS when the government refused to recognize a crisis. A community that fought to live and love with the same legal recognitions as our state counterparts. A community that can influence government and politics through our organizing and our own representation. A community that continues to fight for anti-discrimination protections in housing, employment, and public accommodation. We are a community that has proven time and time and time again that we can organize and we can create change. And yet right here, there's a commonality amongst all of us, and that's pain and suffering. As a former rape prosecutor here in the city of Philadelphia, I spent years listening to women relive the most horrific act of violence anyone can imagine. While working in the mayor's office, I worked to end systematic abuse inflicted on some of our most vulnerable Philadelphians by institutions that should be serving or protecting them. You need only read our intersecting and multi-dimensional identities, cultures, and experiences. We must step forward to fight for more than the woman we see in the mirror, but the woman who we see standing next to us, and even more so from the ones who are missing in the spaces we find ourselves in. And so today and every day I choose to see that all people can change and all movements can grow if we acknowledge our complete histories, honor all women who have gotten us to this moment, in time and no longer settle for a damn thing less. I believe that we are capable of resisting, persisting, and rising together with kindness and love towards each other, and zealous, righteous rage towards anyone who seeks to silence us or shut us down. I love you, Philly.
Okay, didn't I tell y'all? No wonder that I'm proud and honored to consider both of those last two speakers my friends and colleagues, right? So, my name is Deja Alvarez. I'm one of the organizers for the Women's March on Philly. I am also a proud trans woman. So, I want to say two things, and I want this entire crowd to say them both with me, okay? Black lives matter.
Black lives matter.
Trans lives matter.
Trans lives matter.
But I need you not only to say it, when you leave here today, I need you to mean it. I need you to live it. I need you to spread that word far and wide. Because we are all a part of this movement. One of our co-organizers sent over a quote today, and it said, individually, we are one drop. Together, we are an ocean. That has real meaning. Because if we keep trying to tell each other who belongs as a part of this movement and who doesn't belong as a part of this movement, we are no longer a movement, we are standing still. I do not live my life in my truth to stand still. And no one that has anything negative to say, no one that has anything adverse to say to me, stops me from living in my truth. The same way that no Republican, no Democrat, no president, no vice president, no politician, nobody standing in front of you, behind you, or alongside of you has the right to tell you what to do with your body. No one has the right to identify us by our genitalia. No one has the right to touch our genitalia. Last year, internationally, around the world, over 300 trans women, mostly trans women of color, were murdered. They were murdered for living. They were murdered for walking in their truth. They were murdered for simply existing. For far too long, this country has allowed stuff like that to happen. For far too long, people are still being murdered just because they walk in their truth. We as a movement have to make sure that we make that known, that we will no longer accept that or tolerate it. One person of color one unarmed person of color, or just one person of color being murdered by police when they were simply driving down the road or walking down the street is unacceptable. But it is up to us to make that difference. And until we learn to embrace our differences and use those differences to make us come together, we are not going to make that happen. So I implore everyone, stop telling everyone else how they are supposed to live, what doctor they are supposed to see, what body parts identify them, how we are supposed to look, what color we are supposed to be, and how we are allowed to identify ourselves. Until we do all of that, we are not a movement. I am proud to be a part of this today as a trans woman, as one of the organizers for this, as a woman of Philadelphia. all of us came together today, and all of us can come together every day. And that's what this is about. Thank you, everybody, for coming out today, and we love you. So, when we talk about marginalized people, when we talk about who gets told who belongs here and who doesn't, when we get told that a human being is illegal, that does something to my soul. Because what human being is illegal? And if you think a human being is illegal, you really need to readjust.
Damn.
So it is my honor and my privilege to introduce our next speaker on behalf of an organization named Juntos that is based out of South Philadelphia, that is an immigration rights organization that fight. So it is my honor to introduce Olivia, who is an undocumented immigrant woman in the city of Philadelphia that belongs here just like I do and just like you do.
Hola a todos, ¿cómo están? Yo sé que la mayoría de ustedes está entendiendo lo que yo estoy hablando y creo que hemos dicho muchas porras en inglés. Es nuestro turno de decir una porra en español. Yo les voy a preguntar, ¿se puede o no se puede? Y ustedes con toda la energía que estamos mostrando ahora me van a contestar, sí se puede. ¿Estamos listos?
Sí.
¿Se puede o no se puede? ¡Sí se puede! No los escucho, más duro. ¿Se puede o no se puede? ¡Sí se puede! Quiero darle las gracias a todas las personas que están este día aquí reunidas y quiero decirle a mi hija que estoy bien poderosa aquí, a mi madre que espero me esté mirando por Facebook y a mis hermanas que hace muchos años no las veo, ¿verdad? Pero creo que todas tenemos un propósito en la vida y nuestro propósito es no rendirnos, es todo el tiempo estar en la lucha en contra de todas aquellas cosas que nos hacen daño. Several years ago, I joined a local community organization by the name of Juntos, which exists to build the leadership of
mental health, the countless who have silently endured sexual assault and harassment in their places of work, worship, education, and their homes. Women who have spoken out against such injustices only to be shamed or retaliated against. Those who have shared their Me Too and their Us Too experiences. The list of suffering is unending. And for some here, it's unfathomable. And yet right now, you are standing shoulder to shoulder with people who are in pain. Your suffering does not lessen the person next to you. And their suffering doesn't negate yours. Our collective goal must be to lessen suffering for all and to embrace the work of doing this together. Now I want to talk about one type of suffering that we cannot afford to inflict on each other in a time like this, and that is tearing down those who would stand with us to fight for the many needs of our movements. Most of us here can relate to the pain of experiencing someone we thought would stand with us or stand up for us, turning their back instead. I have witnessed firsthand the devastating and destructive effects of what I like to call horizontal hostility. I've watched people who should be working hand in hand and shoulder to shoulder to fight against discrimination and oppression and for basic human and civil rights instead choose to fight each other or turn away from each other's needs. I've witnessed community members, activists, and advocates tear each other down on social media, turning to tactics of bullying, othering, and insulting each other, leaving all parties hurt and no progress made. I've watched people's identities, orientation, race, national origin, and more be questioned, dissected, rejected, and weaponized by the very community they believe they are a part of. And as a result, I've listened to elected officials declare that my community, my strong, diverse, fierce, and vibrant LGBT community in the city of Philadelphia is nothing but drama riddled with infighting and not a priority, and I won't have it.
Person of color. I am an immigrant. I am a woman. I was 25 years old mother when I made the difficult decision to leave Mexico and come to the US. Yes, it was difficult. It was difficult to leave everyone that I knew and loved, including my daughter and my parents who were getting older, not knowing when I would ever see her or them again. Most immigrant stories are the same as mine. We leave the place and the people we love because U.S. intervention and U.S.-led wars make it impossible for many of us to survive back home. Borders do not exist when you are thinking about the future of your child. And I need everyone here to know it takes immense courage to make that journey, especially as a woman. Many women who cross are the vulnerable to assault, to rape, and even to death. But courage, strength, and determination are the basic ingredients to make up every woman here. Yes, we all have to deal with sexism, yet women of color, Black and Latina women in particular, have to deal with racism too, and as immigrant women, our mayor exists and criminalized every day in this country. But we are not victims. We are the descendants of grand warriors, and their blood runs through our veins. And it is that history that makes us strong. I am blessed to say my daughter is with me now in the US. She joined me several years after I came, and she is such a source of inspiration for me. It is for her fearlessness I fighting for our community that I learned to not be afraid, to speak up, and to raise my voice. So, to all the beautiful women out here today, I want you to know that when I fight for all of you. That is why I ask that when you fight, you be sure that you fight for all of us too. Find your inner warrior, cross your own borders, and let's fight together. Because the only way we will win is we work together.
Damn right.
También quiero dar las gracias a mi gente que se encuentra en Arizona apoyándonos y a toda mi comunidad a la que represento por todo este apoyo que me dan. Y gracias a cada uno de ustedes por estar aquí presentes y hacer la diferencia.
It's okay.
Hello. I'm Deja Lynn Bourne. I'm 15 years old. I'm and I'm in the 10th grade, and I go to Abington Senior High School. Last year was my 9th grade year, and I was in class and I wondered why we didn't learn about African American history. And when I asked my teacher, why don't we learn about it, she said if you want to learn about it that bad, you can take an elective. I asked my parents if I could make a protest, and they told me no. So instead, I wrote a poem. Take out your pen or pencil, your iPhone, Samsung, Galaxy, or Android. Take notes, listen up, I'ma teach you something. Maybe asking why I'm standing here is because I'm Lady Liberty, who's just like me, a darker color. Yes, she was a black woman with shackles still on her feet. Frederic saw her as his muse, but I'm confused. Why don't they teach us this in schools? Open up your textbook and take a look. You can find the first male millionaire, James Arkwright, but you can't find Madam C.J. Walker. That ain't right. First female millionaire, she made hair care. Now I need you to listen. They say Thomas Edison invented the light bulb, but here's the lesson. Lewis Howard Latimer played an important role with no recognition. J.P. Knight and Garrick Morgan invented the traffic light. 2 black men, you didn't know that too, right? Just another mystery. Why do they treat black history like it's not American history, but it's mandatory we learn about the European stories?
Damn!
We know how King marched with the men and how Harriet Tubman ran with them at night and how Rosa Parks sat for what's right, and that's nice, but I need to know more. Tired of falling asleep, yes, I need to learn more. Hidden Figures was just hidden in history, a true story that's always been just another mystery. It was 2017 and they lost that man way back in history. Without Katherine Johnson, John would have been an astronaut. I lie to you not. It's ridiculous. It's like NASA just forgot they risked these men's lives and these women's hands. Jackson, Johnson, and Vaughn worked hard shifts all day long. And if it wasn't for my mama and papa, I couldn't be like Obama. So like that great man said, yes we can. And for those who ain't understand me, si se puede. Unlock the mystery and include black history and American history.
Our teachers and lawyers and journalists, doctors, financial analysts, business owners, just like you all out there today. Through our 61 local chapters in 27 states, the coalition has implemented programs that's made a profound impact on the lives that we have touched. We're doing what we are doing today, every single day of this year, and all of the years to come. Through our programs, we're able to advocate on behalf of public policy changes on behalf of women and girls. So again, we thank you all for being here today. As a voice for millions, the coalition believes in inclusion, respect, racial and social justice, integrity, accountability, and like we're doing today, collaboration. We recognize that in order to resist efforts to divide us and stifle the diversity that makes up our great nation, we must all work together. There cannot be a women's movement without representation from women that are able to be here today and to represent those women that have been silenced and intimidated, that have had to combat racial injustice, that have had to fight for equal pay, that have had to convince a room full of men that we should have freedom over our own bodies. This movement does not persist without us all. I hope you recognize that. But sisters, just like Florence Kennedy says, You cannot dump a cup of sugar into the ocean and expect syrup to appear. If everybody sweetened her own cup, then things would begin to change. All of this change begins in your individual homes and your workplaces and your own communities. It takes not us on this stage, but you all out there in your everyday lives to create the change that we need. So I say boldly, sisters, it is time. It is time that we stand up against business as usual politics. We should be running for office, we should be leading grassroots efforts, and we should not only persist, but insist that our voices are heard from every mountaintop. Only then.
18. So for me, this year, 2018, is really 20 high. It's so important that we do as much as we can with the life that we are given. It's so important that we stand up for what we believe in, and that we resist, and we persist, and we rise. And in our lives, it's also so important to remember that just because we don't agree on everything, we can still work together on some things. The things we have in common must be more important than the things that separate us. Thank you. And so, Philadelphia, I say to you again, L'chaim.
L'chaim.
Thanks. It's now my great honor to introduce to you the senior rabbi at Congregation Rodef Shalom. She is the first woman to hold that title, Rabbi Jill Maderer.
Thank you, Beth. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Today I am grateful to gather with we who call God many different names and we who choose not to call to God at all. I am grateful to gather together with you. This season, in our sacred text, the Jewish community reads the story of the Exodus from Egypt. Our redemption story begins with women. Midwives birth our redemption. Overworked, underpaid, but powerful and brave. How do we know redemption has begun? We see the courage of women. And our redemption story culminates with women. When we cross the sea of reeds to freedom on the other side, Miriam the prophet takes her timbrel in her hand, and all the women go out with her in song. How do we know that redemption has come? We hear the voice of women. In our own time, brave women have birthed the next wave of this movement. Women's courage and women's voice are leading. Women and men are following in partnership. We are marching to the other side, and there is no turning back. We, the people of diverse neighborhoods, religions, races, sexual orientations, gender identities, socioeconomic backgrounds, abilities, and languages. So many of our groups, vulnerable targets of misogyny, hate, anti-Semitism, racism, Islamophobia, bigotry, homophobia, and fear. We are here to stand in solidarity, to lift up women's courage and women's voice. It is not the rape survivor's responsibility to bring us to redemption. It is on us all to dismantle gender power imbalance in every corner of our society. It is on us all to bring our courage and our voice to our boardrooms, to our classrooms, and to our kitchen tables. And to anyone who would abuse his power like a pharaoh, we are here to say no. Will we be silenced? No. Will we be pitted against each other? No. Will we be distracted? No. Will we be quieted by complaints that we are too shrill or bossy? No. Will we be satisfied with a handful of high-profile sexual harassment and assault reckonings? No. At its root, sexual harassment and assault are about power. So, will we be satisfied with anything less than complete equal power? No! We will not turn around. Our voices will not be drowned out. We will not go back into that sea. We are crossing to the other side. That someday soon, we will lift our voices with Miriam, and we will know that redemption has come. Thank you.
It's now my pleasure to introduce Patrice Banks. She is an entrepreneur, an author, and the founder of Girls Auto Clinic.
Hello everyone. Ladies, our male allies, Chicanics. I'm Patrice, like she said, and I grew up in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. Yeah, Phoenixville. Phantoms, go Phantoms. And I was not around empowered women. I was not a feminist until I was in my 20s. And I was surrounded by some incredible, powerful women making their contribution. And it inspired me to do the same. And I was encouraged to empower myself and others. And so I started Girls Auto Clinic. And we offer automotive buying and repair services, products, and resources to women by women. We are the only business like this in the nation. And we educate and empower women through their cars. So we offer free car care workshops. I have a full-service auto repair garage with female mechanics and a nail salon to get your nails done. Yes. And we want to make sure that women are confident drivers and smart.
It may seem on the surface impressive. It is drastically lower than it should be. I am lucky to go to a school with such innovation and acceptance. Penn has 13% more women in engineering than the national average, a solemn 20%. These numbers, however, are far from meaningless. They are not the numbers you have seen in past math classes or statistics on the internet. These powerful numbers accentuate the critical issue of women in engineering, as well as women in high-level careers as a whole. It is challenging, even dismaying, to be told that my acceptance to Penn was because of my gender. What I have worked for my whole life to achieve, to have belittled and to be told I was accepted because I am a woman, is exasperating. It is in moments like these, when I am unable to respond to such ill-mannered comments, that I find myself reflecting. These comments are not offensive purely because they insult my intelligence and hard work. They are offensive because they insult my dreams and desires. I am not in computer science because I am a woman and it is the cool thing for women to do. I am in computer science because I love problem solving. I thrive when I am able to solve problems, think logically, and find solutions. There is truly no more empowering feeling than solving problems. The independence I have found in college is fearful and freeing. Yet I am in a
society which still in some ways prohibits such thinking. Women are told they cannot be engineers. They cannot succeed in the ways a man can. Ironically, it is true.
It is personal lives. As a young person who is 16 years wise, but lacks wisdom, because I believe wisdom comes with many more years of experience, I turn to the women of the past and women of today to inspire greatness in me. I learned from their struggle to understand their success. I learned from their pain to embody their strength. I recognize in our country, like our right to vote, our right to education, and our right to run for office. Three things that seem to be so second nature today. In America and around the world, women have fought and continue to fight many battles. As we stand here today, let's not forget all the progress that has been made and the resilient women who made such opportunities possible. We must acknowledge what we have accomplished and celebrate what we achieved today, while recognizing that work still needs to be done. We must recognize that women are a vital part to our country's success at all levels. We must recognize that women, no matter their race or ethnicity, deserve the same pay as their male counterparts. We must recognize that an actress should not be paid $1,000 for a reshoot when her male colleague is making $1.5 million. We must recognize that girls should have the right to protect themselves against sexual predators. We must recognize that Centoya Brown deserves justice because she's been sentenced to life in prison for killing the man who bought her as a sex slave. We must recognize that male intimidation, sexual harassment, and sexual assault should not be a part of our workplace culture. We must recognize that this unification is meant for all women, no matter their race, ethnicity, nationality, documentation, socioeconomic status, and political or religious affiliation. We must recognize that Black lives do matter. We must recognize that dreamers should have the right to continue dreaming as beneficial members in our society.
Yes!
We must recognize that immigrants, including ones from
a very familiar and horribly dark, sad feeling of dread. I hadn't felt this awful feeling for a good 20 years. This feeling was an ever-persistent darkness that invaded every pore of my being growing up. You see, I survived years of bullying, daily bullying, and ostracization in school due to my physical disability, arthrogryposis. I say I survived because I did. I persisted. I never backed down, and I knew the bullying was not warranted. I knew who I was. But it did affect me deeply, good and bad. As a young adult, November 8th happened. The next day I wrote down, as remembered everything clearly, every self-defense move I taught, and I yearned to teach it again or get involved some way. That was the only way I was going to combat this feeling. This is how I got rid of it before. I put my energies toward homegrown groups of people who felt the same way. Through these groups, I found myself learning Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm using my previous knowledge of self-defense to help them gear their teachings towards someone like me, disabled. This story is still being written, but I am a fighter, and I refuse to let a bully win.
Aren't we going to get bored with having die-ins for our health care?
but they're gonna. They're getting to know us. How many of you have gotten a medical test back that shook your foundation? I know some of you have. You don't have to tell me. My mom is a cancer survivor. I had a needle biopsy, and boy, I messed it up. There's a point where you're not supposed to move, and the lovely technician gave me a really long conversation about how I wasn't supposed to move, and I'm like, I'm not gonna move. I'm not gonna move. I'm not gonna move. You know what happened? I moved. But thankfully the medical staff persisted, and they think they got a good sample anyway. And you wanna know what? When I get my test results back, they may be good, they may be terrible, but I'm not packing it up and going home because I persist. We persist. And how many of you have gone to work, and I know many people who have spoken on this stage have gotten up and gone back to their job or their military service after being sexually abused, being treated in a way that makes you think you are less. How many of you have persisted and gotten back up to work? That's right. Because we're not playing games. We're serious. We're serious about doing the ordinary, dogging work that you have to do every day in order to create the country you want to live in. We persist. How many of you have raised a child? Come on, give it up for your mamas in the house. I suspect that if the kid seems like they're having problems at 6 years old, you don't say, well, gotta get a new kid. I suspect that we persist. To wrap up, too many of the people who claim to be working for us, are just lying to us. They are hiding from us, and they are stealing our money.
Damn
Am I right?
Damn right!
And they think we are going to give up on ourselves. They think we can't knit and lead the resistance at the same time. They think it is inevitable that our persistence will die.
Never.
They don't know us. They don't know us. And because they don't know us, they treat us as a lesser reflection of themselves. But they are getting to know us. Every Tuesday in front of Senator Toomey's office, he's getting to know us. He can't find his office, but he knows who we are. And in every aspect of our lives, I'm an ordinary person. And you are all ordinary people too. But together, we can accomplish something extraordinary. And together, with that little bit of persistence, we create in ourselves and our communities and in our worlds and with our families and with our friends something amazing. The light of humanity. We become extraordinary. And we become extraordinary because we persist. Last time, everybody, we persist. And we're going to keep on persisting. Thank you very much.
During this tumultuous and confusing time in our nation's history, together we say, we are. No matter what forces may seek to divide us, together we say, we are. Whatever the differences in our outward appearance, black or white, Asian, Middle Eastern, or other, together we say, we are one. Sisters and allies who are police officers, other first responders, healthcare workers, Philly Streets Department, and others who work today so that we could gather in safety here. It is with gratitude that together we say, we are one. Let us commit our minds and hearts open to support our sisters who seek political change on our behalf. Together we say, we are one. able and disabled, old, young, short, tall, fat, thin, or in between, rich, poor, or somewhere in the middle. Together we say, we are one. Girl child born in this city this day, powerful, wise old women, all ages of sisters and female identified. We stand united together when we say, we are one. We affirm every female's inherent right and freedom to make her own contraceptive and reproductive decisions. Together we say, we are one. Every patriarchal, civil, and religious power structure that seeks to bind us, blind, and bully us with lies and schemes cower beneath our feet when together we say, we are one. Citizens, immigrants, and refugees, together we say, we are one. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or questioning. For those of us who grieve the loss of loved ones to guns, opiates, suicide, epidemics that challenge the soul of our nation, together we say, we are one. Sisters and allies, let us commit to vote twice a year, every year, beginning primary election day, May 15th. We resist, we persist, we rise, we run, we vote. Together we say, we are one. Now, let us each join one hand with one other sister or ally, raise them up in solidarity. To paraphrase the words of our sister, Dr. Bernice King, daughter of Coretta Scott King, just last Monday, we are one people, one nation, one blood, one destiny. Because all civilization began in the soil and the sunshine of Africa. Together we say, we are one. Again. We are one. Again. We are one. Amen and hallelujah.
Philadelphia, you look so beautiful. We are Voices Rising Philly. We are a community choir that is raising our voices for the resistance. Jane Holting's going to say a few words about how she founded this after her participation in last year's Philly Women's March.
Sorry, sir.
Hi, everybody. Voices Rising Philly, it's so great to see you here. Last year, 1 year ago, I came to this rally and I went home thinking, we've got to start a singing group. So we did, and I've always been very inspired by the videos of the civil rights movements where people walk down the street locked arms and singing as a way of protecting themselves, of giving each other strength, and so on. And I thought, that's the kind of group that I want to start. So the group is, if you want to start one of these groups in your neighborhood, that's fine. You can come online and go to Voices Rising Philly on Facebook and find us. We'd love to have you join up in whatever way you want to. So today we're going to sing a song and teach it to you if you don't know it already. It's kind of a women's anthem right now for the Me Too movement. It's called I Can't Keep Quiet by Milk.
So how many of you have sung this amazing song by Milk before? Give me some sound. All right. Well, you know there's lots of places for you to join us, and we are so delighted to be adding our voices to this amazing movement. We need a little more guitar in the monitor, please.
Can't keep quiet, no, 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 a one-woman riot, no.
understand. There'll be someone who understands. Must be someone who understands. I know that you understand. Break it down.